Sunshine on my solar makes me happy. Nice singing there, Frankie.
Well, the day has finally come and it's time to put those solar panels on the roof. I set them in this temporary frame while we were building, but now that the roof is done, the panels are going up and out of the way. And besides, the roof is the sunniest spot in the yard. I built a simple frame out of pressure-treated lumber that the panels will fit into. When I got the frame into position and square with the roof, I bolted her down, dropped the panels in, and fastened them into place. I think this will work just fine. The next step was to install the ridge cap. The feed line from the solar is running along the ridge pole beneath it. A few more screws and this project is done.
Well, that went together just like I hoped it would, but a lot better than I expected it to. Yeah, it went together well, and I like the way it looks. Plus, there's room enough to set another system just like that alongside of it if I need to later on. Now, it would have been ideal if I could have just set those panels on the ground on the south side of the camp. But that wouldn't work out for this situation here. Because when this camp was originally built in the 1950s, it was built on a 1/4 acre of land. Okay? So it's not far from the boundary. And on that side of the camp, there's some big old pines that are healthy, and I don't want to take them down. And then on the neighboring parcel, which is not far from the camp here, there's more monstrous pines, and the terrain keeps going up. Okay? So for us to get any sun in here at all, it's got to be down there. And the sun hits that roof a lot sooner than it does on the ground, and it hits it a lot later in the day than it does on the ground. Like I said, that roof is the sunniest spot in the yard. It's the best spot for the panels. Now, cleaning those off won't be any trouble at all. I can do it from the ground with a push broom on an extension pole, or like I did with the pallet with the forks, I could just raise Lori up and she could sweep them off. A piece of cake, all right? They're not hard to access, those panels. So the next step now is I've got to run a feed line from the shop to the camp. I got to hook these two together and run a conduit underground. Now, I don't know exactly how that's going to go because we got ledge and stumps and stuff, but going to give it a go. We're committed now. We're going to get it done. Yeah.
So, like I said, we're going to get this underground power line run today. A few rocks to move, but the little backhoe will handle that with no trouble at all.
What's Daddy doing out there?
Now, I gotta tell you, I'm grateful for my friend Steve for setting us up with his Coyote tractor. It's been a lifesaver for us, and I don't know what we'd do without it. I'm grateful beyond words for our friendship. Now I've got to run this conduit beneath my stone wall. Let's hope I don't destroy it in the process. While I'm trenching across the driveway, Mama's digging a trench beneath the fence. You gotta work as a team out here. Without teamwork, you got a whole bunch of nothing. Well, it looks like we made it, and it's mission accomplished once again.
right, folks, so the panels are up, the conduit is down, the wires have been run, everything's hooked up, and it's running like it should. Pretty happy about that. A lot of folks have been anxious for the solar installation. Lots of questions coming in, and a lot of people are asking me, like, what did I buy? What am I using? What do I recommend? Well, I'm reluctant to recommend anything because I really don't know much about this. All right, I don't know squat about it. I really don't. I bought these panels about 7 or 8 years ago for the other cabin, and then we decided to move up here, so everything just stayed in the box, and because we didn't have any sun in here, they just stayed in the boxes. But as you've been following along, we opened it up, we got some area, some sun, so the panels are up. Instead of taking up your time yakking about what I bought, I'll just put all of that in the description below. That way you can see what I bought, check the prices, get all that information for yourself without just me taking up your time today. The system that I did buy, that kit, I really like it. It was very, very simple. And even for me, who doesn't know anything about it, was able to put it up without any trouble. So that was good. I'm happy with this so far. How it compares to other stuff, I don't know, because this is the only system I have ever purchased. Okay, so what I have here, and again, this is only hooked up temporarily, but it's hooked up and it's working. I have 4 200 amp hour Renogy batteries, and they're hooked positive to positive, negative to negative with number 2 cable. All right, I think these are only 12-inch cables. I'm only running on my cheap little 400 watt inverter right now, because in the camp, all we're running is some LED lights, and we charge the laptop, all right? Charge the phone, a few little things. So we're never burning 400 watts, ever. So right now, this is what I'm running on. And then on this end over here, on the far positive terminal of the battery bank, I have a 40 amp fuse here. Okay, this just bolts down. And then I have the positive lead to the charge controller hooked to the fuse. I also have the positive lead to the inverter clamped to this. Okay, and then these cables come up. These are the positive and the negative coming from the panels. They come up through my bench to my charge controller. All right, and as you can see, everything is charging there with that flashing. The battery bank right now is at 13.1, and everything's working like it should. Okay, so this wire here runs to the camp, and it's plugged into a wall outlet in the camp. And on this end, I just have a male plug, and it plugs into the little receptacle of the inverter. Very simple, and working just fine. I have a few different pure sine inverters. I have some 1,000 watt ones and a 2,000 watt one, and I have some other charge controllers and stuff that a friend had sent me. And I'm going to hook up my old battery bank up in the freezer shed. That stays nice and warm from the heat from the freezer. So right now I have the old batteries in there. And then if we're not getting much sun for, close to a week, I just unhook from this battery bank and I run off of the other battery bank while this one charges back up. And it's been working just fine. Now this inverter here, this is a Sunforce Pro Series 1,000 watt pure sine inverter. I've had this for maybe 8 years or so. It's just a wonderful inverter. I've had no problems with it at all. So under here, right up there somewhere, I'm going to put a shelf, and I'll have that inverter, and that inverter will be hooked to the batteries properly, and this will be eliminated, and I'll have a voltage regulator, a voltage meter, and a few other things up there on the shelf. So that's what I have. That's the way it is. When I get it upgraded, I'll do a little update and show you the changes that we made. All right? So that's it for now, folks. All the best to you, and God bless.
Frankie and the boss out walking in the woods, living life happy and free. Tracks in the snow everywhere they go, there's a porky way up in that tree. A beaver built a pond where they have some fun, taking life a day at a time. Best friends until the end, Frankie and the boss, Frankie and the boss, Frankie and the boss.